Hey, what's going on out there, NFL fans? Y'all know what time it is, man. Time for the Sports Machine at A1 Forever.
Oh
To
yeah.
kick off another pop-up show, man, and some comments came out yesterday about what happened between Roddy White and Kyle Shanahan. Now,
Mm-mm.
me being who I am, and if y'all been following my channel, I talked about it extensively a couple of years ago, and come to find out I was pretty much correct. But we just had to hear it from the horse's mouth. But
That's
we're
it.
gonna talk about that just a little bit. We're gonna look at the clip and break it down just the best we can. And we're gonna give y'all, I think the whole episode actually drops today on the Apple Podcast channel, and I think it may be on other streaming platform. But we'll see, man. But tell everybody what's up, man, before we get this thing rolling.
Hey man, feeling good, feeling great. You know what I'm saying? Hoodie season gonna be popping for me early, and other than needing a shave, I'm good to go. But hey man, I'm glad that Roddy did what he did. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, should we gonna get into it, of course, but like you said, really just telling the experience that we already knew, but just hearing it from the legend's mouth. So it's just good to see, man. But we can get into it, bro. What's
Yeah,
going on,
man.
bro? How y'all doing in the chat? What's going
And
on,
we all
chat?
know it was, we all know it was politics at the end of the day. But some things, man, some things just shouldn't be done. And I'm not gonna only point the finger at Kyle Shanahan. I'm also pointed at Dan Quinn because if coaches coach and they come up with game plans, I'm sure Dan Quinn knew what was going on. But right quick, man, as I'm sitting up, just looking at Roddy White's stats and where he lands in the Falcons all-time list, he's top five in all categories. So
Mm,
you look at 2015, and I'm sure this is what when it happened because I think that was Kyle Shanahan's first year, and the previous year, well, 2015, correct, and that was Roddy's last year in Atlanta. Started every game, only had 43 catches for 506 yards and one touchdown. And by far, that was his worst season since his second season in the league, which was
mm,
2006, where he had the exact same amount of yards. Ain't that crazy?
crazy,
But
right?
if you look at what he's going to say, man, he's going to break it down as to what happened. Now, I may do a little bit of pausing in this
Of course,
clip because YouTube be tripping about playing whole clips. But
they
we're
do.
going to break it down just as we go along. And let's get this thing rolling, man. So there you see it on Twitter. He's going to talk. And as we break it down, I'm going to let A1 start and we just going to keep it going. But before we do that, man, you'll say what's up to the chat. My boy
Well,
James Overton, man, OG Falcon fan. What's up, James? Mike Kelly, what up? What up? My boy Archangel. What's good? He said, what up, A1?
what's happening, family?
Vontae, what's good, my brother? Our boy Shaka stopping through.
Shaka, what's good,
Carl,
man? Shaka just had a
Carl Thermal.
birthday too.
Yeah, Shaka getting old, man. Hey, Shaka, you about what? About 50. You getting close to
No,
50, knocking on that door. RB, what's good, my dude? Mr. Moody, what's good?
what's good,
Keyboard
man?
Harris, what's up, dog?
How
But
y'all
yeah,
feeling?
let's get this
How y'all
thing
feeling?
rolling right quick, man. We not gonna hold y'all long. But it's gonna be interesting to see what they're gonna say. Let
Okay.
me get that out there. So let's get ready to roll.
Like what led to your departure though?
What do I think?
Like in Atlanta.
When when we first sat down with Kyle Shanahan, right? It was like he was like, all right, this is how I envision the offense, blah blah blah. We would literally go through practice scripts and I would get the ball at practice, right? And then when we go in the games, like he would sub me out. Like he would be in the headphones.
Hold on,
You
wait a
can hear
minute.
him. We've seen right now. We can hear him.
Yeah, we could hear him.
Oh, so
And
doing it on purpose.
yeah, so I could hear.
Pause.
Wait a minute.
Come on, man.
Smitty,
What the
Smitty,
hell?
what's good with the misdirection? You have me running the routes in practice, and then all of a sudden get me out of here, sub me out. Like, what kind of BS is that, man? You don't treat no grown man like that. You hear me? And
Man, that's the
especially
most
somebody
blatant.
who,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
and I was about to say, especially somebody who had 6 consecutive seasons of 1,000 yards played over 171 games with the same franchise, and also the availability and the durability was there too, because Roddy White only missed 3 games between 06 and 2015.
3
So
games in 10 years.
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, we're talking about somebody who definitely still had gas in the tank. So I really don't understand. Oh boy, just that alone right there just starts you off just already just like, what?
Bro, like I told you backstage, that shit was all ego at that point.
Bro,
He didn't want Roddy speaking out, and we know Roddy's
that
very
vocal
vocal.
leader.
Everybody knows that, and you see that today
Right.
while he's retired. Roddy is a vocal person, and ain't nothing wrong with that.
No,
That
it's
means
not.
Roddy gonna get the best out of you. He gonna get the best out of himself, and that means you talked about if he plays in that Super Bowl,
That
plays at
plays.
least 1 or 2 more years, and he still had 2 to 3 years in the tank because Larry Fitzgerald, what Larry Fitzgerald did, and if y'all don't know, Larry Fitzgerald moved to the slot when he got older. That extended his career about a good 4 years. He was still putting up numbers in the slot. You could have
Right.
did that with Roddy, because Roddy is a big body receiver that knows how to shield off cornerbacks. He knows how to create space. So he could have made a difference on this team. You still had
super vet by then.
right.
Super vet.
And
You know what I'm saying? Vocal leader. You know what I'm saying? 2012, that NFC championship game. I mean, just him, his leadership in that game, you know what I'm saying? The things, you know what I'm saying, that he was telling Julio, and he always building up Julio, always building up his teammates. You know what I'm saying? Having that credibility and also having that accountability. That's what Roddy White brought to the Atlanta Falcons as well. And I just believe, just like you just said, it was ego. You didn't want somebody that can really like get in your behind or really like get after you and be like, hey, what are we doing here? Like, you know, et cetera. You didn't want that backlash. You didn't want that, you know, that interaction with somebody that really, you know, has more equity in the team than you do. And you didn't want that. I just feel like you really did not want that.
And he's sitting up talking to a grown man like this, man, grown ass man. And if you in practice and y'all going over certain things, and then you suit up on Sundays just to say this, I'm running this show. What kind of example does this show you as a coach? And see, this is why I always say karma is a motherfucker. Because those 2 Super Bowls, they were ahead in the 4th quarter. But guess what? The same thing happened with the Falcons against the Patriots. Fell short because of his arrogance. And arrogance gets you every time, bro. There's no way around that. So when you look at that point alone, Roddy was fed up at that point. And I don't blame him. Because like I told you, he had 2 to 3 years left. Now he did work out for the Patriots the following off season. And tell me what you said a few minutes ago before we got on air, if he would have ended up with that Up North team.
I'm telling you, bro. Like, can you guys just imagine? Because Roddy White worked out for the Patriots the year we faced them in the Super Bowl. Could you imagine if Roddy decided to sign with them, and then all of a sudden 28-3 happens with Roddy on the opposing sideline, bro? That would have been worse than when the Braves lost the Braves in the Freddie Freeman situation. That'd have been 10 times worse.
Right. And the thing about that, it would have been nobody's fault but the Falcons. Because just like I told you, we talking about Kyle Shanahan. But Dan Quinn gets more and the same amount of accountability in this situation too. Because you're the head coach. Y'all go through game plans. Y'all go through schemes as to what y'all going to run on Sundays. I didn't hear Dan Quinn name come up not once. We talking about Kyle Shanahan. But if they're having a problem, Dan Quinn needs to step in, put his foot down. Y'all find a way to solve this because we got to win football games. Any great coach is going to do that. So in that aspect,
that was early Dan too. I think Dan now probably would definitely do that. But Dan at that time, what he was like first time head coach coming over from Seattle. I feel like he was just trying to figure it out. He was trying to be that friendly guy to trying to keep everything, the camaraderie in the locker room. Trying to be that, you know, so that coach's coach, that player's coach, etc., like that. So I think that all factors in. Like if it was Dan Quinn now, I think if that situation arises, I feel like he, you know, so he rises to the occasion. and be like, hey, look, this is what I think, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's do this, let's do that. But Dan at that time, that was like what, second year head coach Dan Quinn at that time. He still kind of was rookie. So I mean, I'll give Dan Quinn just a little bit of grace in that regard.
Yeah, but you know, if you're thinking about the future of this franchise, and at the time, Roddy was the best wide receiver in this franchise history at the time.
Absolutely.
He had set all the records. We knew what he brought to the table, and just like I said, Kyle Shanahan ego cost his team a Super Bowl. Not only was it Super Bowl Sunday and them coming back from 28-3, but this instance, before we even got anywhere near Super Bowl, before Matt Ryan had the MVP season. Just think about that. This could have been the start, the falling domino that started everything to fall the wrong way. So sometimes it's just small things in the organization that could just take a toll down the road on a team. And I'm looking at Roddy White's stats right now. And 10,863 yards, 63 touchdowns, which is still number one in Falcons history, 808 receptions. Just think about that. And he gets talked to like a fucking second grader. So,
man,
yeah.
Crazy, man. Like I'm about to say, yeah, let him hear a little bit more of it. Let me hear a little bit more.
That's crazy. But got shout out my cuz, man. What's up, cuz? Yeah, he started a YouTube channel, man. So I'm gonna try to get him on during the season, so y'all can go support him, man. But yeah, man, you're right, man. Let's keep this thing going, cause I'm already pissed, cause I'm just.
It was nonsense. It's nonsense, and honestly, to use a big word, it was repugnant. So it just
exactly.
Here said, "Get Roddy out." I was like, "You gotta be real with me, man, because I'm about to lose my shit." He was like, "I just don't see you as like the top 4 options on the team."
Oh,
so who better? So who better then?
Who better on that team?
I mean, okay, I'll give you Julio and okay, but after that, what we got?
You want to know what we got? He finna tell y'all what we got.
I said, what? He was like, yeah. He was like, yeah. If the game was on the line, I would throw the ball to who? I would throw the ball to Jacob Tammy. What? I would throw the ball to Leonard Hankerson.
He ain't say that.
Leonard Hank?
Oh, God damn, man! Look, go ahead and talk. I got to find these stats because this
Leonard Hankerson. I ain't gonna lie to you. I wasn't even a podcaster back then, and I was like, "Why did we sign Leonard Hankerson?"
I was
a veteran, et cetera, et cetera. I understand,
and I asked myself that.
Bro, we had Roddy White. We did not need Leonard Hankerson. Homie said Jacob Tammy before Roddy White. No disrespect to the Tammy family, because Jacob Tammy, you know what I'm saying, he did come in the clutch for the Atlanta Falcons a couple times. But we're talking about somebody who is still beloved in the Falcons community right now, in Roddy White. We're talking about somebody who could still get it done on Sundays in Roddy White. You just didn't utilize him because you didn't want to.
Now listen to this. He said he would rather throw it than Leonard Hankerson.
Leonard
Hankerson played for three teams that season. Started out with the Falcons, played 8 games, ended up with New England and Buffalo before getting cut by both of those teams. He played in the game on both of those teams. And his stats for the entire year, 26 catches, 327 yards, 3 touchdowns. And you mean to tell me you would throw to Leonard Hankerson before you throw to Roddy White?
Bro, we're no disrespect, but we're trying to compare somebody who have their feet cemented in the ground. We're talking about somebody who is, oh my God, bro. This man compared Roddy White to a nomad. Like, are we serious? Like, come on, bro. And I don't mean any disrespect to the Hankerson family, the Tammy family, anybody else like that. It's just, again, we're talking about Roddy White. And when you talk about the comparisons to all those other players that he just said, we're not talking about anybody that's holding a candle to what Roddy could do. Roddy is a veteran. Roddy could find spots in the zone. Roddy could have been put in the slot and could have flourished and still been on this Falcons team. The offense could have been probably better because Roddy White is able to read spaces and get places that other people just can't get. People didn't even know Roddy could still get skinny, and for that term as well. So I'm just saying, like, Roddy is not afraid to go over the middle. Roddy could have still did everything you needed Leonard Hankerson, Jacob Tammy, or whomever to do. You just, with your ego, did not want to do it. And that right there is what I be talking about. Until you do right by me, you not gonna win nothing. And you haven't won nothing.
Right. And don't get me wrong. Tammy played very well that season. But he's a damn tight end. He's a tight end. And now look, he had 59 catches, 657 yards, 1 touchdown. But you still mean to tell me that you're going to insult the Atlanta Falcons all-time leader in receiving yards and touchdowns like that? They're telling you he's not a fourth option. I think he did that just to get up under his skin to make him want to, yeah. So when you look at the whole dynamic of the situation, it was just him being an ass. And what's up, Ryan? Birdcage LLC. He said this is just as bad as Jerry Glanville getting rid of Brett Favre, and I totally agree with that because
this may be a little worse.
Since Chris Miller was married to the owner's daughter, he got to stay around for a little while longer, and we all knew Brett Favre could have been the second coming, but guess what? He ended up getting traded to Green Bay, and the rest is history. But I agree, this is a little bit worse because we talking about a guy.
We know exactly what Roddy White is. We didn't know what Brett Favre was.
Right, absolutely. So let's finish this thing off right quick, man. Let's finish it off right quick. We just about done.
Your face.
This is what he told me, and then he said, and then I'll run a play for free to throw the ball to free, and then
He told you that?
He told me that.
Now he went from wide receiver, a no-name wide receiver, to a veteran tight end that was 1 year from retiring, and now he goes to a running back, a screen pass. So, like I said, he was just trying to get up under his skin. At the end of the day, he did a good job at it.
That was a tactic.
So
that definitely was a tactic, and
a tactic to make Roddy quit. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's it. And it was a force out move for sure. Definitely a force out move. I can just imagine how uncomfortable that could have been for the player and just for the locker room, just seeing what's going on. And it's crazy. You see, actually, the guys, I mean, I know Harry Douglas was no longer with the Falcons. So, of course, he didn't know anything that was going on. But you see, even Julio was surprised by some of the things being said as well. And he was on the team. So it's just a lot of behind the scenes, a lot of backdooring just going on just in Atlanta when it just comes to our legends.
One of the first comments, and it is exactly what you just said. Richard told me to go read the comments. I forgot to read them yesterday, and this is one of the funniest comments on there. When you look at Andrew D, he said, we all knew Kyle and Roddy had their differences. Kyle not seeing Roddy as a top 4 option on the 2015 team, really? Game on the line, you're throwing the ball at Tammy or Leonard Hankerson? Hell out of here with that, man.
Like, what are we talking about?
Absolutely correct.
We talking about Jacob Tammy, who, again, serviceable tight end, had a nice time here in Atlanta, but that's still Roddy, that's still Sherrod White. You know what I'm saying? Right. My goodness. And then again, Leonard Hankerson. We're talking about somebody that's migrating to place. Like, we can't be comparing a journeyman, respectfully, to Roddy White. Like, that's just absolutely bizarre. That's crazy work right there, for real. What they said, that's weird behavior.
Very weird. But yeah, man. You look at the numbers there. Kyle Shanahan. And the crazy part about this was actually the year that he struggled on offense with the Falcons, struggled to find his footing. Then that next offseason, I guess him and Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, or whoever else got in the film room, said, hey, this works for us. We're gonna try to run this. This scheme best fits my arm talent. That very next season, Matt Ryan blew up. Roddy White should have been a part of that because Roddy White was part of the reason why Matt Ryan got to where he was. We know Julio did it, but we can't leave out Roddy White because Roddy White was here long before Julio got here. So If you think
Man, I
about it,
hate I that's
but
one thing that put a damper on that season too. I mean, the season was still a success because we reached the Super Bowl, but of course, so the end result was not our liking. But I just hated the fact that Roddy was not a part of that run. Of course, being a part of 2012, of course, being a part of everything going on with Matt Ryan and his ascension. And then for him not to be able to be on that Super Bowl team to at least play in the Super Bowl as an Atlanta Falcon, that was bittersweet, like when you think about it in the back of your mind. But it's like, what can we do? If us Falcon fans would have kept riding, we know that, but it wasn't up
and,
to us. And
his ego took over, man. And this is why I always tell people, man, do not let your ego overshadow the simple thing that you got in front of you. His ego cost us a Super Bowl in more ways than one. Roddy White stays in Atlanta at least one or two more seasons. We easily win that Super Bowl. In that Super Bowl,
yeah, it would have been
Devontae
more
Freeman,
accountability in the locker room, bro.
right? Devontae Freeman, 50-yard run, does not touch the ball again in the game. His ego overtook this team on more than one occasion. It's cost us the Super Bowl. It's cost us the core of our team because after that, that's very insane. Well, the next offseason, Jonathan Beverno retires. Then you have to build on the line. Grady Jerry is young at that point.
Mhm.
Keanu Neal, a couple of seasons later, he leaves. Uh, Desmond Trufant, a couple of seasons after that, he leaves. So this was the deconstruction of the Falcons because of one person. So I did want him back as the coach. I'm not
Oh,
gonna lie, I said it. But as I listen to this, that changed my perspective on everything. He's a talented coach, but when it
mhm.
comes to character, when it comes to personality, he's an ass. Let's
He's
just
a
call it for what it
bonehead,
is.
bro.
So look, how can you? How
And
can
the
you?
thing about and the thing about it is, again, I'm pretty sure the 49ers, and they love him. I'm pretty sure. Again, Shanahan is a respected guy around the league, regardless. But at the same time, this guy right here gets in his own way. I mean, we've seen examples of it, and now we're seeing, some things from the past being brought to light that we knew about. But of course, again, still hearing it from the player's mouth and the person that experienced it, so that you get more clarity and just
Right.
and the clarification is just the simple fact, like you just said, man. Holmes just does bonehead moves and gets in his own way, and that's also another reason why he's not a champion right now. So
Yeah, yeah, ass hat legs. Absolutely, Jay Black.
mhm,
Absolutely. Craig, this is absolutely true. Kyle just didn't like being checked by Roddy because of his nonsense. And Chris said it. Yeah, Roddy's one of those no nonsense guys. If he saw
right,
something wrong, he was gonna tell you. And people talk about Julio and how Julio became great. But do y'all know Roddy was a part of the reason why Julio became great? He taught him the ropes. He taught him how to
right,
be a pro. He taught him,
right,
everything he needed to know on the field to become one of the greatest wide receivers of all time. You can have all the freakish ability in the world, but if you don't know the game of football, that don't mean nothing. So
right.
Roddy had to teach Julio to be a pro those 4 seasons that they played together. And
Yeah,
take it
and
how
all
y'all
the
well five. I think it was 5 seasons. Those 5 seasons that they played together, Roddy made Julio get better each and every day, whether it was on every Sunday, on the practice field, in the film room, any way you want to look at it. Roddy White was a big part of that. And Julio will probably tell you that himself.
of
So
course,
as I look at, like I said, as I look at this clip, man, it just pisses me off. And my thing is, if you knew something like that was going on, it makes me wonder too. What the hell was Arthur Blank when all this was going on? He wanted to have his say in everything. I know he knew about this. I don't know if he talked to both of them or not, but you just don't let one of your franchise players, all-time franchise player, get treated like that. You just don't. I mean, I don't care how you look at it, how you put it. You
man.
just can't let things like this happen, man. You can't.
Yeah, man. Just you're right, and you start to think about it because really, after Roddy left, that's when all of a sudden all this we're gonna try to make him a Falcon for life thing started up as well a little bit more too. Um, it's tough, man. That's tough right there. But
Hey, Richie, that's true, man. Yeah. Jimmy Horn was key to Roddy finally turning the corner because those first two seasons Roddy struggled with drop passes, but that third season he hit that switch. It was off. It was off and running. Julio did credit Roddy that part of his success several times. Absolutely agree. But before we get out of here, man, Armand threw up a question. He said, "What
Yeah.
y'all think about Kirk Cousins not showing up to OTAs?" This is easy, man. I really don't expect it. But I let Chris talk because he had a great point earlier. So you get your point, then I get mine.
Well, I mean, of course, OTAs. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't show up. I wouldn't be surprised if Kirk Cousins really picks and choose when he shows up, when he's not. I still believe it's some behind the scenes thing going on. I still believe the Falcons are still trying to see if they can move Kirk Cousins. Honestly, we're getting close to June 1st, extremely close because today is May 27th as we're recording this. So, a lot of things are going to start transpiring after June 1st, guys. So it may be
Which
some
is
things
Sunday.
going on behind the scenes. Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Come next Monday, it could be all kind of moves being made. We don't know. For all we know, it could be Kirk Cousins being held out for a reason. Could be Kirk Cousins holding himself out for a reason. So at the end of the day, I feel like it's going to be picking and choosing. I feel like, worst come to worst, he'll be at training camp. But the reason why he'll be at training camp is mostly just to save face. I think that's just my personal opinion. I could be completely wrong, but I feel like it'd be just to continue to save face, continue just to show other teams, hey, look, y'all know I don't want to be here right now, but I'm still going to come out and do what I can possibly do for the team. You know what I'm saying? Show my face, be a good teammate, be a good sailor or whatever. It's a good soldier. And, just showing that to other teams and saying, yeah, I can still come on and be, saying that team player for you guys as well. That's just, that's what I think it's going to be. I think this really shouldn't be new news to any Falcon fan that Kirk Cousins didn't show up for OTAs.
Yeah, I definitely agree 100%. He definitely gonna pick and choose when he gonna come. He's trying to save face and show other franchises that he can still be a team player, even though what's transpired in Atlanta. And we all know, what he's going through, being bench in place of a rookie quarterback last year. But you gotta let that go because the one thing about it, you're 37 years old. So no matter what team you go to in the NFL, you're gonna always have somebody looking over your shoulder because you're closer to the back end to retirement than you are to the beginning of your career. So you just gotta let that go. So at the end of the day, can he coexist with Arthur Smith? He's not Arthur Smith type quarterback. Why? Because he can't use his legs. And Arthur Smith is a run first type coach. And Pittsburgh is a run first type offense, no matter who's the offensive coordinator. It may work because if he can make the timely throws like he did in Atlanta before with the 6-3 record when he started, he'll be fine. But if he's that Kurt that looking over his shoulder, worrying about what's going on behind the scenes, you're gonna get this Kurt that only won 2 games down the stretch. So it's not a surprise he's not at OTAs. So like you said, there's something going on behind the scene that we don't know about, but guaranteed come Monday morning, June the 2nd, my grandmama's birthday, rest in peace to her. We gonna know what's going on with Kurt. Because at the end of the day, Kurt has to control that ego. And we saw it when he got here, when he told on us, we lost that 5th round pick. We saw it when the season was over. You can't make this up. So I think they're working on something, and I think they want somebody to take on that contract. But if they don't, I think if they just take half of what they asked for, they'll do it, especially if they can get a 3rd round pick. They already gave up a 1st next year and a 5th. They've got to recoup one of those picks.
Got to recoup something.
So
and again, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a deal already in place. Like I can really believe that if possibly one in place, and it's just the right situations the right dominoes have to fall in order for it to go ahead and go through. That's exactly what I believe, man. So we'll see what happens, guys. At the end of the day, Asante Samuel Jr.
He's dealing with an injury. Asante Samuel Jr. dealing with an injury, a shoulder injury that's really bothering him. So he's going to wait till after, right before training camp, get that shoulder tested again. And if he's fine, he'll sign with somebody.
I
Who
think
that
so.
will be, I don't know. It could be one of his dad's former teams, New England, Philadelphia, Atlanta. Who knows?
Yeah.
But with Asante Samuel coming here, I don't think it'll happen because, like I told y'all, me, Chris, Berto, Kev, all of us have said, um, we could see Kobe Bryant making this team, and you can't bring in too many corners to um, compete with him because one
Hey,
thing about that kid, he's a competitor,
right.
and I just see him as a reserve rotational guy right now. But going into next season, if he has a good season this year, I can see Kobe Bryant being a starter next year. And like I said,
Right.
Mike, he was only signed a 3-year deal, but I think only 1 year is really guaranteed on that contract.
Right, bro. And my thing is, again, I've been on Kobe Bryant really ever since I laid my eyes on his tape, and then I seen him in the combine, and I was like, yeah, that guy right there is a ball player, like seriously. And I believe it's going to translate to the NFL. Is a guy that I'm definitely rooting for, like openly rooting for to make this team. One of the guys that I definitely, it's rare that you scout guys and your team actually goes to get them. Well, I know for like last year, I know Dorless, I know Berto was on him, I was on him, and then we end up getting him. Michael Penix, you know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people was high on him, and then we got him. But to have a guy go undrafted and still ended up on your team, like Kobe Bryant, and still be able to go out here and compete and possibly make this team like we all believe he will. And heck yeah, what's good, Eric Parker? But yeah, man, Kobe Bryant definitely a guy that I'm openly expecting to make this team.
Yeah, I agree, Ryan. Miami is an option because Tua isn't healthy, and
Right,
I've been reading for the last 2 weeks that they wouldn't be Tua got traded, because honestly, one more concussion, I think he's done. So
mm,
that's another team that could possibly be looking at Kirk Cousins we're not even talking about. So I think Pittsburgh is the front runner. But if that falls through, I think Miami should be on the radar because we just don't know what's going to happen with Tua. Every time he hits the field, could be his last time because we all know he hits the ground, that he hit that head, snaps back. You already know that's an automatic month and a half that he's going to miss. So yeah, I mean he's closer to retirement at a young age because of concussions.
right,
So hey, I mean it happens. Yeah, DeMarco Hellams, yeah, he's gonna get playing time. He's gonna get playing time, but he's coming off an injury as well.
hmm
And this is why I love those two safeties that they drafted. And I
yep,
see it on who show was I on? I was on Sports Roundtable,
hmm
and Ho asked me. He said, "Who's going to be the biggest sleeper on the Falcons in 2025?" And I said, "Look out for those two young defensive back that they drafted.
right,
One, you got Xavier Watts, who models his game after Jesse Bates. He played linebacker, so he can play in the box. He can
hmm
play well against the run. He can set the edge as a safety. Then he can drop back in coverage because he played wide receiver, so he knows how to turn his hips real quick, and he
right,
knows how to find the football. So when you look at that aspect of Xavier Watts, we could be talking about a future All Pro. Then you
hmm
look at Billy Bowman, who's going
a
to play the
missile,
nickel.
Billy
Yeah,
Bowman.
he's going to play the nickel. He's also a guy that can set the edge at defensive back position. He can
He's
play
fearless.
zone very well because I think I was looking at it, they tried to compare him to Tyron Matthew. And if we get a Tyron Matthew out of a kid like that, the Falcons hit a home run with the undrafted picks. We're not even talking about, the 5 picks that we took in the draft. This could be one of the best Falcon drafts ever, depending on how everything pans out. But that all depend on the coaching and um, how the coaching can coach these guys.
hmm Absolutely.
They signed Brabert's brother in Miami as a safety gap. I can see
Right.
that.
Okay.
Miss Christie, what's up, man?
How you doing, man?
Y'all go check out the Lady Birds of AFN, man.
I think they got a show
Christy,
tonight or something like
yeah,
that.
they got a show tonight, I think. So Christy, if y'all got a show tonight, drop it in the chat so we can give it a shout out. And y'all do y'all thing, knock it out the box. Richie said, "How y'all feel about seeing our defensive coordinator actually out on the field running with the players?" I actually love it,
I
man.
love it.
we knew Jeff Albrecht was gonna bring a different type of energy, and I saw a Falcon content creator talk about Troy Anderson earlier. I think Jeff Albrecht could be the factor in Troy Anderson turning the corner, and Troy Anderson just not being who we thought he was. Because let's be real, he's still in developmental stage because he can't beat the injury, he can't stay on the field. So we'll see how that turns out. But
the thing about Jeff Ulbrich, that's the type of coach he is, though. He's hands-on. We seen that when he was with the Falcons the first go round. This is not new. This is Jeff Ulbrich style. I love to see that he's still, you know what I'm saying, pretty much in that regard, the same guy, still hands-on. You see them taking off trying to run from Jalen Walker. And of course, you know, if that was live action, he wasn't getting anywhere. But, you know, so I like the fact that my coach is getting out there. I like the fact that, you know, Nate Ollie being vocal out there, you know, and telling guys, you know, saying we're landing haymakers, you know, and there's no jabs, you know, so we're going to haymaker these guys. Like, I love to see it. I want to be the bullies. Like I started saying that last year. We got, you know, some glimpses of it, but not quite there. I'm ready to bully teams. We've been getting bullied for too many years. I'm ready to start punching people in the freaking mouth.
Right.
Straight up. You know how when you punch somebody in the mouth and they mouth ball up. I'm ready to do that to other teams, man. Like, seriously.
You're out of control.
I'm just saying, bro. I'm ready to do it, man. It's time. It's time to really rise up for sure.
Falcon fan 48 said, who do you think will be the starting defensive tackle next to Anya Mata? I'm thinking Street or Harrison. I'm gonna say Rook, man. Rook, I think should be the starting tackle, defensive tackle. This is the reason why they drafted him to take over for Grady when it was time to move on. They had a plan in place. They tried to make it seem like it was a contract dispute, but I feel like they knew Grady Jarrett needed a fresh start, needed to start somewhere else, and it happened. He went to Chicago. So I'm thinking Rook could be that guy. You could see Dorless as a 3-4 end, but at some point, this defensive interior is going to have to be key to this team being good against the run and, you know, generating pass rush, controlling their run gaps. But at the end of the day, I just think it's going to be Rook because that's what they drafted him for. They drafted him to be a successor to Grady Jarrett. So we just got to see what he can do.
Facts.
Christian Lewis said the Lady Birds of AFN will not have a show tonight. However, we'll live most Tuesdays at 8 o'clock. So on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock, y'all go to AFN and check them out. They do their thing. They very knowledgeable Atlanta Falcons football. So please go check them out.
Right.
Boy, let's get it. What's good, my dude?
What's happening, fam? Sean, what it do?
Hey, Chris, I hope we get a chance to go to training camp too, man. I'm ready for it.
Hey, real quick. If they have training camp this year, me and Smitty, we definitely plan on going out there. I'm telling you guys, like, not sure how many days we're going to be able to make it, but for sure, definitely got to get out there. Definitely would love to meet some of y'all guys, man, some of the beloved Falcon fans, so we can be out there checking out our team, rising up together, seeing the potential of Michael Penix, you know what I'm saying, coming in fruition. I'm ready to get to it, man. I can't wait to see if we're going to have like regular training camp again, because I know I missed it the year before we drafted Penix. And then, of course, you know, they had renovations last year and other things. But, you know, I'm hoping that we get back to it this year, for real.
Facts. But this has been another great show, man. And we thank y'all for coming through, man. But you know what to do, A1. Tell them where to find you, man.
Hey, man, A1 Forever Sports, that is the platform on YouTube. It is 152. Make sure you guys have found your piece today, because positive energy always creates elevation. Hey, also catch your boy over at the Hawks Digest. Dropping videos over there because there's a lot of news swirling around the Atlanta Hawks. We are 1 month away from the NBA draft to see who's going to be drafted at 13 and 22 for the Atlanta Hawks, or are they going to make a move with those picks? We'll see. At the same time, you know, also Twitter, A1 Forever, Instagram, A1 Forever, and the real A1 Forever on TikTok, man. Y'all, you know, so make sure y'all, you know, have a great day, man. As Berto would say, we're going to definitely give you your day back, and you guys have a great day for sure.
Yeah, Lorenzo always say that, don't he? Y'all know where to find me, man. Smitty Sports Machine on YouTube. Find me on Twitter at FatboySlam_21. Find me Tuesdays during the season on the NFC South Roundtable, where I go up against Bucks, Panthers, and Saints content creators. We just like a family, man, and we bring y'all great content. So make sure y'all check us out on that. But like Chris said, man, we're gonna give y'all day back. Find your peace, and I'm just gonna continue my ignorance backstage. But I'm gonna holler at y'all soon, man. Peace.